Hello everyone and welcome to Studio Sense. My name is Tommy. Today we're going to be reviewing a fragrance that came out in 2020 by Emporio Armani called Pour Lui or Pour Lui He. It's going to be an interesting fragrance, especially the presentation. So when we return, we're going to take a closer look, talk about that note breakdown and what this is best used for, that and more, so stay tuned. Hey guys, and welcome back. So today we're going to be looking at an Emporio Armani release that caught my eye when it was first released, but I thought, you know what, I'm going to wait till that hits discounters before I grab that up. It has, and I did, and I have it today. This is an interesting fragrance. It comes in almost like a carton. Well, if it were just on one side, it would kind of look like a milk carton, but it's a package that looks like it's a canister refill of an actual fragrance. It's extremely light. It is actually a 3.4 ounce or a 100 ml bottle. Now it's interesting, when I originally got this, I was like, it feels like there's not 100 ml worth of juice in there. Primarily the weight in your presentation comes from the bottle, which is all glass, or the lid, which can be metal. So a combination of metal and glass and plastic, probably about 90% of your weight. The rest of it is the juice, which is relatively light. So that's what's interesting about this presentation. Before we talk about the juice and that note breakdown, let's go ahead and check out that presentation a little closer. So it's an interesting presentation, to say the least. It's an interesting canister. It's a little bit heavier and solid feeling in the hand than it is in the package, of course, so I do like that fact. It's going to sit up just fine on the shelf. Probably one of the lighter bottles that you'll ever experience in your fragrance journey, for sure. So there's literally no demarcations on the canister except at the very bottom. It says Emporio Armani, that's stamped into the metal, and then you've got your aperture right up here, and then of course the entire 90% of the top is dedicated to the actual atomizer. So we're gonna see how that works. But first, before we see what that juice is like, let's talk a little bit about the note breakdown. Emporio Armani's Pour Lui He features top notes of lemon, mandarin, citrus yuzu, apple, pineapple, sage, and green cardamom, with heart notes of cyclamen flower, jasmine, rose, orris or iris, and nutmeg, resting on a base of amber, musk, tonka beans, cedar wood, oak moss, sandalwood, and vetiver. So it's almost like we opened up a time capsule and went back in time when it comes to the actual fragrance formula. There are a lot of notes in this. So this is going to be an interesting fragrance to actually smell and break down. Let's go ahead and check out that juice, see how it actually sprays, and see what it smells like. This is actually rubberized and it's connected to the metal. So as you're pushing it down, I don't know if you can see that there. It's an interesting feel. I don't know if I like that. Yeah, so the atomizer and the aperture is a little bit loosey-goosey. It kind of spits a little bit. Maybe it just needed to be, I'm gonna try another tester strip and we'll see if it just needed to be primed and then it sprays better after that. Yeah, it sprays better after that, but I'm not super impressed with that atomizer. So there is almost proper scent confusion going on this tester strip right now. There are a lot of notes in this fragrance and there's a lot going on. I would say this is going to be one that you really can't test on a tester strip appropriately. It's one of those you're going to have to like try out on skin to see actually where it goes, because it's a little bit more complex. You're going to have to wait to see what actually comes to the foreground and what actually stays in the background, whether it's something you want to spend money on or not. Having said that, primarily what I'm getting is a nice floral woody mix straight out the gate. It is a little bit reminiscent of the early to mid 2000s in men's aromatic fougères. Kind of reminds me a little bit of Carolina Herrera 212 without being the powdery balsamic. Let's go ahead and throw that away and try it on skin, because this is going to be one primarily, again, that you'll definitely want to try on your body before you make a buying decision about it. Let's go ahead and give that a moment or two to dry down so that we can get a better presentation of where it's going. So right now you can purchase this fragrance. The price of it varies quite a bit when you look online. There are different sizes. This is a 100 ml size. There's a 50 ml size as well. But you can actually get it for right around between 50 to 70 bucks. I'll leave a link in the description below where I got it from. Let's go ahead and see where this is going to take us. Interesting. It's really a nice mix of woody and floral. This is one of those fragrances that's similar to like a tritone paint job on a car. So depending upon your perspective or your point of view, it's going to change color a little bit. That's kind of what this does to your olfactive sense. So I'm getting primarily that spicy, that floral, that woody, but then there are little sparks and nuances intermingled here and there that are very unusual. So the base that it's resting on is that very familiar tonka bean, cedarwood, oak moss, vetiver, some other woods that are in there as well that give it that really intrinsically woody fragrance. So if you're a huge fan of extremely woody fragrances, you'll like this. But it's not just a woody fragrance. Again, you've got jasmine, cyclamen, iris, rose, and nutmeg. Those are interesting notes, and they are causing some interesting fireworks, olfactive fireworks, to go off here and there in these nuances, and I like it. Now this is an eau de toilette concentration, so it's not going to sit super heavy on your skin. It's projecting relatively well. I would say this is going to be one of those average performers when it comes to longevity and in terms of projection. Which is good. So to describe the life cycle of this, in the open, you're going to get a little bit of fruity aromatics. So you've got some fruits in there. You've got mandarin, lemon, apple, pineapple, sage, and yuzu, which is also a very citrusy fruit. But then immediately it goes from the fruit into spicy. So right in the top, you've got some sage, you've got a little bit of sweetness from the green cardamom, but that top is very short-lived. Primarily what you're getting in this is that very floral heart and that very woody base. So you got a little bit of amber to round it out, to warm it up. You've got some musk. You've got, again, your tonka bean. Your tonka bean and cardamom is where the creaminess, and the sandalwood is where the creaminess and the light sweetness is going to come from. But this is not a sweet fragrance. It's a very masculine, dense, lightly magnetic. There's a little bit of sensuality in here too. You can wear this casually. You can also wear this dressed up. I can see this in an extremely upscale environment. It would lend itself to that because it is a little bit more, it's got a little bit more of a refined overtone to it. Because this fragrance DNA is not overtly one way or the other, this is going to be a really nice signature scent. Because of the notes that are in it, it's going to be appropriate in, I would say, just not extremes, not extreme cold, not extreme heat. But you can wear it year round. Spring, summer, winter, fall, doesn't really matter. I think that's actually the caveat to this fragrance, is it fits almost any environment and situation in just a very masculine, almost throwback kind of way. And when I say throwback to the early 2000s, mid 2000s. And it's just a very interesting presentation to have a canister. Like literally, I don't have any fragrances that look like this or that are like this. I think Pitbull's fragrance stands really tall, and maybe some other ones, but the shape is really unique. So it's kind of a cool presentation. Well guys, that's it for my unboxing and first impression of Emporio Armani's Pour Lui. I think it's a really unique fragrance and I'm interested to wear it more and just kind of see how it grows. It grows on me and kind of where it takes me in my fragrance journey. As I do so, of course, I'll give you a full review later on. But thanks so much for stopping by and checking out today's video impressions. And as always, thank you so much for your support on my channel. I'm Tommy with Studio Sense and I'll see you tomorrow.
Yeah.